An aged Iraq war adept stands before adjudicator Caprio, abashed and alone. Carthage commendation he doesn't understand. No lawyer, no family. Aloof, a abashed 72-year-old man who served his country and now faces the acknowledged arrangement, defenseless. Adjudicator Caprio reviews the file, sees the aggressive account record, and makes the accommodation that shocks the absolute courtroom. He picks up the buzz and calls his own son. "David, I allegation you to appear to the courthouse appropriate now. I accept a adept who needs representation. Can you be actuality in 20 minutes? What happens abutting aback? Adjudicator Caprio's son walks in and defends this aged adept for free. Becomes the best affecting moment his attorneys has any time witnessed. Stay till the end, because this adventure proves some things amount added than rules, procedures, or able boundaries. Subscribe and bead your city. You'll appetite to allotment this one. Wednesday morning, 10:30 a.m. The Bife calls. Case 14205. Harold Walsh abortion to crop Route 6. An aged man shuffles to the Belvedere boring application a walker. He's cutting a beat Iraq war veteran's cap, biscuit pants with a authentic crease, and the accepted shirt that's apparent bigger days, but is anxiously clean. His easily agitate as he tries to authority the citation. Adjudicator Caprio looks up and anon sees something. This man is disturbing not with defiance, with comprehension. "Good morning, sir. Your name?" "Harold. Harold Walsh, Your Honor." His articulation wavers. "I'm sorry. I'm a little nervous." "That's altogether fine, Mr. Walsh. Take your time. You're cited for abortion to crop at an intersection. Do you accept the charge?" Harold squints at the paper, acutely disturbing to apprehend it. I anticipate so. The badge administrator said I didn't stop aback. I should have. But, Your Honor, I did stop. I consistently stop. I'm actual, authentic aback. I drive." Adjudicator Caprio's announcement softens. "Mr. Walsh, are you actuality by yourself today?" "Yes, sir. My wife anesthetized 3 years ago. My babe lives in California. She capital to come, but she couldn't allow the alike admission appropriate now." "I see. And do you accept acknowledged representation?" "An attorney?" Harold looks confused. "A lawyer? No, sir. I didn't apperceive I bear one." The cardboard aloof said to appear to court. I anticipation I'd explain what happened, and he trails off, lost. Adjudicator Caprio reviews the commendation added carefully. Then he sees it. The officer's addendum acknowledgement, the actor appeared abashed at the scene, possibly disoriented. There's additionally a medical notation. Disciplinarian mentioned PTSD and TBI during stop. "Mr. Walsh, may I ask about your aggressive service?" Harold straightens slightly, a beam of pride breaking through the confusion. "Yes, sir. United States Army. 2 tours in Iraq, 2003 and 2005. Action engineer. I'm 72 now, but I served my country aback she bear me. Acknowledge you for your service, Mr. Walsh. Adjudicator Caprio agency it deeply." The officer's address mentions you told him about PTSD and alarming academician injury. Is that accurate? Harold's pride fades aback to vulnerability. "Yes, sir. I got aching in Fallujah IED explosion. I accept an amnesis problem sometimes in loud noises. They accomplish me, I get confused." The administrator was actual kind. He didn't bawl at me or anything. "Mr. Walsh, this commendation carries abeyant penalties, including fines and credibility on your license. Given your medical altitude and the circumstances, I accept you should accept acknowledged representation to appropriately present your case." Harold's face falls. "Your Honor, I'm on an anchored income, veterans' benefits, and amusing security. I can't allow a lawyer. I'll pay whatever accomplished you anticipate is right. I don't appetite to account trouble." And that's aback Adjudicator Caprio makes his decision. Adjudicator Caprio picks up his buzz appropriate there on the bench. The attorney's watches, confused. Judges don't accomplish claimed calls during proceedings. He dials, waits. "David, it's Dad. Are you at the office?" "Good. I allegation you to appear to the courthouse immediately. I accept a adept here. Aged Iraq War vet, PTSD, TBI, no representation, adverse a cartage abuse he doesn't absolutely understand. Can you be actuality in 20 minutes? Perfect. Attorneys 3, acknowledge you, son. He hangs up. Harold is staring, not compassionate, what aloof happened. Mr. Walsh, I aloof alleged my son, David. He's an apostle, actuality, and providence. He's advancing to represent you. Pro bono, that agency no charge. You won't pay him anything. Harold's eyes ample with tears immediately. Your Honor, I can't ask you to do that. Your own son. You didn't ask, Mr. Walsh. I'm offering. You served this country in combat. You got afflicted, arresting our freedom. The atomic we can do is accomplish, abiding. You accept able acknowledged representation in this courtroom. Harold is arrant above board now, not alike aggravating to adumbrate it. I don't apperceive what to say. Say you'll delay 20 account for David to arrive. We'll alcove your case until he gets here. Bailiff, amuse accept Mr. Walsh, sit in the advanced row area, he's comfortable. The bailiff helps Harold to a seat. The attorney's is absolutely bashful, except for Harold's quiet errand, and the complete of bodies in the arcade sniffling. An earlier woman in the aback stands. Your Honor, may I say something? Adjudicator Caprio nods. My bedmate was in Vietnam. He had PTSD, too. Died 5 years ago. What you aloof did for that veteran, that's the best admirable affair I've any time apparent in a courtroom. God absolve you. She sits bottomward crying. Several added bodies are wiping their eyes. 22 account later, the aperture opens. A man in his 40s walks in, able suit, briefcase, assured bearing. David Caprio, the judge's son. He walks anon to Harold, extends his duke warmly. Mr. Walsh, I'm David Caprio. My ancestor alleged me to represent you today. It would be my account to advise a veteran. Harold stands with adversity and all overs his hand, still crying. I can't pay you, Mr. Walsh. You already paid. You paid with 2 tours in Iraq and injuries that still affect you today. That's acquittal abundant for a lifetime of acknowledged services. Subscribe to Adjudicator Stories if you accept veterans, deserve added, then we can anytime accord them. David Caprio spends 15 account consulting with Harold at the Aegis table. He reviews the citation, asks abundant questions about the incident, Harold's medical conditions, his active history, his accepted medications. Then he addresses the court. Your Honor, he stops, smiles hardly at the awkwardness. Your Honor, may I present Mr. Walsh's defense? Adjudicator Caprio smiles warmly. Proceed, Counselor. Your Honor, the cloister should apperceive several analytical facts about Mr. Walsh's case. First, his aggressive service. 2 action tours in Iraq as an action engineer. One of the best alarming assignments in avant-garde warfare. He was complex in IED apprehension and disposal. Second, his injuries. Mr. Walsh abiding alarming academician abrasion in a 2005 IED access in Fallujah. The bang threw him 12 vertebrae. He was ailing for 6 weeks. He still suffers from anamnesis issues, casual disorientation, and astringent PTSD triggered by loud noises. Third, his active record. Mr. Walsh has been active for 54 years. This is his Aboriginal commendation in 11 years. His aftermost abuse was a parking admission in 2013. He's an awfully authentic disciplinarian, absolutely, because he's acquainted of his limitations. David pulls out documents. I accept actuality, his VA medical annal assuming advancing. Analysis for TBI and PTSD. His neurologist's account that accent and abrupt situations can account cursory disorientation, and attestant statements from the circle area this adventure occurred. Adjudicator Caprio reviews the abstracts David submits. Your Honor, 3 assemblage at the scene, absolute civilians, except provided statements, adage Mr. Walsh did appear to a complete stop at the intersection. However, a barter backfired nearby. Mr. Walsh appeared abashed by the loud noise, I accepted PTSD trigger and hesitated for several abnormal of 4 proceeding. The administrator interpreted this averseness as abortion to yield, but it was absolutely a agony response. Harold is listening, tears alive bottomward his face. Someone is assuredly cogent his adventure properly. David continues, Mr. Walsh wasn't actuality adventuresome or careless. He was experiencing a medical adventure triggered by action, accompanying agony abiding while confined this country. Penalizing him for that would be fundamentally unjust. Furthermore, Your Honor, Mr. Walsh lives on veterans' allowances and amusing security, about $1,800 per month. A cartage accomplished and added allowance costs would actualize 18-carat banking hardship. He already struggles to allow his medications. Adjudicator Caprio listens intently, admitting anybody in the attorney's knows he already advised to advise this veteran. But watching his son professionally apostle gives the moment added weight. Your Honor, I appeal complete adjournment of this commendation based on medical circumstances, admirable active record, and Mr. Walsh's account to this nation. Alternatively, if the cloister feels some award is necessary, I appeal deferred acumen accidental on Mr. Walsh, commutual a chief disciplinarian assurance course, which I will abandon pay for and align bus line 2. David sits down. Harold grabs his duke and squeezes it, clumsy to speak. Adjudicator Caprio takes a moment of forespeaking. Aback he does, his articulation is blubbery with emotion. Mr. Walsh, amuse stand. Harold struggles to his feet. David allowance him. Mr. Walsh, I've advised the citation, the officer's report, the attestant statements, and the medical affidavit your attorney. He smiles at David. My son has presented. First, let me say article about your service. You are an action architect in Iraq. Do you apperceive what that agency to those of us who've never served? It agency you volunteered for one of the best alarming jobs in avant-garde warfare. While best soldiers face the achievability of encountering IEDs, you actively approved them out. You put yourself amid explosives and your adolescent soldiers. That's amazing courage. Harold is errant again. So are bisected the bodies in the courtroom. Second, the abrasion you sustained? Alarming academician abrasion from an IED blast, that's not article that aloof heals. That's a abiding seed you fabricated for this country. The PTSD you carry, the anamnesis issues, the disorientation triggered by loud noises, those are the advancing costs of your service. You're still advantageous the amount for attention us. Third, apropos this citation, afterwards reviewing the evidence, I acquisition that you did not abort to crop due to apathy or carelessness. You accomplished a medical episode, a agony acknowledgement triggered by a loud babble that your academician assembly with combat. That's not a cartage violation. That's a war anguish manifesting in non-combatant life. Adjudicator Caprio's articulation strengthens. Therefore, this commendation is absolved completely. You owe nothing. No fine, no credibility on your license, no almanac of this incident. Harold sobs. David puts an arm about his shoulders. But Mr. Walsh, I'm activity to do article else. I'm arising a cloister adjustment, that this commendation be expugned absolutely from all records. Not aloof dismissed, but removed as if it never happened. You've becoming a apple pie slate. Furthermore, I'm administering the cloister to address a letter to the Providence Badge Department, commending officer. He checks the citation. Administrator Martinez for his backbone and affection against you during the cartage stop. His address shows benevolence and professionalism that deserves recognition. The attorneys erupts in applause. Bodies are standing. Harold is shaking, crying, captivation onto David for support. Adjudicator Caprio isn't finished. Mr. Walsh, my son mentioned that you attempt financially, that you're on veterans' allowances and amusing security. That apropos me acutely because you should never accept to attempt afterwards what you sacrificed. I'm activity to abandon affix you with the Rhode Island Veterans Affairs appointment and several bounded veterans organizations that accommodate banking assistance, medical support, and added services. My agent will accord you acquaintance advice afore you leave today. Harold tries to allege but can't. Aloof stands there crying. Mr. Walsh, you came actuality today alone, confused and scared. You anticipation you'd be fine. Instead, I achievement you leave alive that this community, this courtroom, ceremoniousness your service, that you're not alone, that aback you bear help, we provided it. Adjudicator Caprio's articulation breaks slightly. My son and I, we grew up compassionate that abandon isn't free. That men like you paid for our adequate lives with blood, injury, and advancing trauma. Dismissing a cartage admission is the aboriginal affair we can do. The smallest. Afterwards court, Harold tries to acknowledge Adjudicator Caprio and David properly, but can almost anatomy words through his emotion. Your Honor, I came actuality cerebration. I'd lose my license. Cerebration, I couldn't allow the fine. And instead, you gave me your son. You gave me dignity. You gave me he can't finish. Adjudicator Caprio accomplished down. Article he rarely does and embraces Harold. Mr. Walsh, acknowledge you for your service. Acknowledge you for your sacrifice. Acknowledge you for still actuality. Actuality, admitting aggregate you've endured. David adds, Mr. Walsh, here's my card. My absolute corpuscle cardinal is on the back. If you anytime allegation acknowledged help, any kind, you alarm me day or night. Your ancestors now. An aged man from the arcade approaches. Mr. Walsh, I'm Robert Chen, Marine Corps Desert Storm. I saw what Adjudicator Caprio did for you today. There's a veterans accumulation that meets every Tuesday at the VFW Hall. We'd be accustomed if you'd accompany us. You shouldn't be alone. A woman adds, Mr. Walsh, I run a nonprofit that helps veterans with medications and medical expenses. Let me get your information. We can help. Harold is amidst by body's alms support, resources, friendship. The video of the audition goes viral. Comments flood in from about the world. Adjudicator calls his own son to avert a veteran. That's what account looks like. This is America at its best. I'm errant at work. That adept adapted this kindness. 6 months later, Harold sends Adjudicator Caprio a letter. Your Honor, you adored my activity that day. Not aloof from a cartage fine, but from bareness and despair. I've abutting the veterans group. I accept a company now. Your son helped me get added VA allowances I didn't perceive I able for. I'm not abandoned anymore. God absolve you and your family. Harold Walsh, U.S. Army, Iraq veteran. Adjudicator Caprio frames the letter abutting to Ancestor Maston's mother's letter in his chambers. Reminders of why this assignment matters. Subscribe to Adjudicator Stories now for moments aback. A adjudicator calls his own son to assure a veteran. And aback amends agency added than law, it agency honor. Harold Walsh absolved into cloister abandoned and afraid. He labored amidst by abutment with his commendation dismissed, his address restored, and his account assuredly accustomed the way it should accept been decades ago. Adjudicator Caprio accepted that sometimes the rule's allegation to angle for what's right. That calling your own son to avert a adept isn't nepotism, it's patriotism. That amends should account sacrifice, not add to it. This is what happens. A adjudicator sees a abashed aged man and recognizes a action hero. Able boundaries amount beneath than accomplishing appropriate by those who served. And one buzz call. David, I allegation you to appear avert a adept changes a life. Harold becoming his aegis in Fallujah. He aloof had to delay 17 years to accept it. Comment below. Allotment this, if you accept veterans deserve our very.